Welcome back. It is time for our new limited series, Friday Light with Keesha. I'm so happy that you're back.
Yes, thank you so much for having me back.
Of course, and I love these discussions. We kind of kicked off this series last week, and today we are focusing on networking. And I was just telling you, I feel like it's so hard to network sometimes.
It can be. It really can be. And you have to be really intentional about that and be able to find the spaces and put yourself in those places to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But it's so important to be able to have yourself surrounded by people that truly are going to support and encourage you. And that's why I really enjoy talking about that, because there was a season in my life where I found myself just, I graduated from college, had my first child, married, doing all the things, had my head down and just working, and I looked up and I didn't have those relationships around me. And I knew, though, in order for me to continue to grow and to live a life fully, because I believe we're supposed to do life with people and not alone, that I was going to need to build my network, and I was going to have to put myself out there to do that.
And that can be scary, having to put yourself out there to network, especially if you're naturally a shy individual.
Yes, it is. And I'll say, because it can be scary and uncomfortable, you've got to start in stages, right? You got to take it kind of slow. And so I like to give 3 tips that can help you on being able to do that. So when you show up to a place, you identify, maybe you want to go to a place that has like-minded people like you, or interests like you, maybe a nonprofit that you share a common idea and you like their mission. But when you show up, just showing up isn't enough. You've got to be able to be vulnerable and put yourself out there.
You actually have to talk to the people.
Yes, and you have to put away your devices.
That too.
Quite often it's like our comfort, right? We want to grab it.
I'm guilty of that. That's like my safe space.
Me too. Because I literally sometimes I would just want to, when you feel uncomfortable, you're like, okay, well, let me check out what's happening on social media or follow up with an email. But you got to be present if you want to build relationships. So put away those devices, and then you got to be intentional about going up to meet people. And maybe you're not, the rock star at networking. Some people love it, others don't. And so I always encourage, how I started is, even if I met just one new person, like I'm going to go meet one new person, strike up a conversation, and see if we have things in common. And maybe that'll lead to building a continued relationship with that person. And then my last thing is just to make sure that you lead with who you are.
Okay.
So often when we go out, we'll talk about ourselves, we'll introduce ourselves, your name, your title, and where you work, which is good. Nothing's wrong with that. But if you're really going to build connection with people, you've got to be a person. You've got to be vulnerable and share with them what you do outside of your work, and just really who you are. And a lot of times in professional spaces, we get really comfortable with that, elevator pitch and sharing how you sell yourself, and that's great. But if you're really wanting to connect with people, you've got to find those ways that you can connect. Because yes, I'm the founder of Beacon of Light, but I don't know if that really gives you that connection with me. But if you know that I'm a mom and I enjoy dancing and having a good time with my friends, there's a way that you can connect with me.
It personalizes it in a sense too.
Absolutely.
Which I think is so important, because I think that's what people want. They want those real connections, not just the thing that they see on paper. They want that depth.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I love that you said that, because, often we think about our connections and our friends maybe on Facebook or social media or on LinkedIn, and that's great to have those connections. I don't take anything away from it. But what I always like to say is, whenever you post something on Facebook or your social media and you'll share maybe that you've lost a job or a family member, or you celebrating something great, you'll get a lot of prayer hands or confettis that say congrats. But what I really want, because I've reaped those benefits, is for people to really be able to have someone that's going to show up in their lives, like physically be there and make that connection if you lost that job, introduce you to that next door opportunity, or be there the day that you're receiving this recognition or this special thing. That's what life is about, doing life with community. And so when you're able to do it in that way, you can surround yourself with people that are going to encourage you and support you if you're having those healthy relationships and building it in that way, so you can fully show up and be supported, but also shine your light when you're in those places.
And that's so important. That community is so important.
Yes,
in life.
It is. And I like to say, and I actually texted one of my friends today, we were communicating, and I shared with her, hey, I want you to know when I go on today, I'm talking about you as one of those people in my life, right? That just really, truly encouraged and supported. And so if you have that circle, tell them today, thank you for being a part of that circle. And if you don't, just be willing to step outside of your comfort zone, show up, even if you made one new connection.
Make that connection.
Yes.
It's important. And Keesha, we're out of time, but how can people contact you?
Yes, you can visit beaconoflightla.com. You can learn more more about my services, or if you want to be able to work with me and building your confidence and really showing up in the world the best you can, I'd love to be able to hear from them.
Thanks so much for sharing this with us today. It was a pleasure.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Michael, we do have to check in with you. What are you tracking outside?